Alright, another game here, and for a change of pace, I am playing Pauper. Yes, Pauper. I recorded a Pauper game a while back, and didn't touch the format again for a while, but in light of the fairly recent, I guess it's no longer that recent, given that it's about a month and a half ago, but in light of the fairly recent ban list rules, I decided to go dust off the deck again and play a few games. I think that this Trinket Blink'it deck is probably back to being tier 1 again, given the fact that its primary enemies, which were all Cloud Post based decks, are completely dead, and Temporal Fissure as well. It was completely helpless against Temporal Fissure, mainly because it's a very slow developing deck, doesn't run any counters, and kind of just sits there and gets all of its permanents unsummoned. So I was very, very happy to see those bannings. I lobbied Eric Lauer actually 2 years ago at Mark Rosewater's Christmas party about getting Cloud Post banned at the very least, and I also mentioned Temporal Fissure, and he was concerned about storm mechanics in general, but I told him that Cloud Post was not only an enabler of so many degenerate things, but also kind of warped the format and forced people to play certain strategies, because there were just decks that could not beat it, and you really couldn't play any type of slower non-counterspell based deck against Cloud Post, and even counterspell decks couldn't really work either, because the mana gets out of control, and you can't contain an opponent who has 16 mana on turn 5 or whatever in Pauper with just the weak set of counterspells that exist there. So I was very, very happy to see that Cloud Post was finally done away with, and I think that the format could continue to use a little bit more refinement. Anyway, here we go. I'm playing, for those who haven't seen this deck before, it's a blue, red, white deck built around a card advantage engine using Momentary Blink and Trinket Mage and Mole Drifter and Leonin Squire and Aven Riftwatcher, as well as some other tools, including Bone Splitter, and then a set of spell bombs, blue, red, and white spell bombs. The whole package works together in synergy, along with the Ninja of the Deep Hours, to constantly recur in the artifact retrieval and fetching guys to build just an indomitable wall of little guys, and drawing millions of cards and gaining infinite life too. And it meshes all together extremely well. The only changes I've made to this deck in the last few years have just been the addition of some guild gates, which I'm not completely sold on. I don't really quite know the right number of these yet, but certainly a few of them is pretty nice. Pirate's Spellbomb. We're missing red here, of course, but there's a lot of ways to get it. Not really sure if these are better, honestly, than running just more of the fetches. Given the fetches always get you the color of mana that you want, and these ones are somewhat limited. I mean, I have a million sources of red in the deck now. I think I have 12 or 13 or something, in addition to 4 Trinket Mages, which can also fetch red. Ravenous Rats. Well, I happen to have 2 Momentary Blinks in my hand. Alright, do a chance here. I'm just going to draw a card. Sack Pirate Spellbomb to draw Kervik's Torch. The deck has 2 Kervik's Torches in it. It tends to ramp into huge amounts of mana. You often have 12, 14, 15 just natural mana in play, because between all the card advantage and the Karus, you often just play lands all the way out until turn 12 or 13 without missing a land drop, and Kervik's Torch just ends games quickly. Just going to play my Karu. Not really under a lot of pressure yet. So, 3 mana, Rager. I could have predicted this. This deck that I'm playing against is fairly obvious construction, just black-red aggro, I think. So I drew Trinket Mage, which is pretty damn good in this situation, not only as a blocker for the rats or for the Rager, but also as a source of red mana. Yeah, just about every card in this deck, really with the exception of the Kervik's Torches, is based around card advantage. Not surprising. Ravenous Rats, but that's kind of the way the format is. Most of the good decks are all just filled with things that are 2-for-1s. So rats me. Well, I think about throwing away the Blink, but I actually like having the Mage here, and I kind of want to protect it given that he's tapped out, so I'm just going to throw away an island. He doesn't even attack, which I find very weird. So I draw the Expanse. I don't really have immediate use for red mana, and I'd like to actually have 2 sources of red, potentially, given that how much white and blue I have already. Because having multiple sources of red gives me multiple options later on using Spellbomb and Torch in the same turn. So I'm just going to chill here At the end of the turn, he has a rather weird play. He bolts during my end step, and not when I was tapped out. And I've got momentary blink in the graveyard. So, yeah, might as well use that. Blink. And get a look at my deck. So, yeah, just checking the sources of red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus the mages. So that's a total of 15 effective sources of red. Plenty of red. Yeah, I mean, I don't even honestly know if the deck worked fine before they even made guild gates. I added, I think, 4 of them, or maybe just 3, 1 of each type. No, I guess I got 2 Azorius. I don't know. They're not bad. But given the situation here, I don't feel like my life total's in danger at all. So I'm going to go get a Pyrite Spellbomb. Oh, no, never mind. I go to get an Aether. Reason being that Aether Spellbomb, especially against decks with removal, is really effective. Just having it sitting on the board allows you to block effectively and also pay just a single mana to protect Trinket Mage from removal. And it's really good against things like this, Keldon Marauders, because you can block and then unsummon your guy or blink your guy in response and effectively just blunt the single attack that the Marauders get to do. I'm just going to take the damage here. He plays his own Karoo, which is a little troubling. I'm going to go get red. Yeah, I'm still happy. I've got plenty of mana out now and 6 cards in hand, and I just drew Mole Drifter. And as much as I'd like to play it, I'm going to just do some blocking, blinking shenanigans here. Because I see he's still got 5 cards in his hand. I know one of them is a land, but 4 of them are potentially dangerous. And I don't want to take too much damage. I haven't drawn a source of life gain except for him. And the fact that I have a blink means that this guy can potentially fetch 2 spell bombs, which is 10 life. So I'm just going to chill here and hope he overextends on the mage. It's so nice here because he can send his team. I can chump block with Keldon Marauders and blink afterward. And if he does have a removal spell, I can just unsummon my mage effectively for free because it can just get another spell bomb. So you often put your opponent into really, really difficult situations with this deck because of the way that all the bounce works. And you can imagine, I actually built this deck way back. Oops, I just moved it out of the frame. Okay, there we go. I built this deck back during 6th E rules. And if you remember, during 6th edition rules, you could stack damage and then remove your guy from as a blocker, and the damage would still apply. So you can imagine, as good as this deck is now, how absolutely insane it was with the 6th edition rules. That's what it was really designed to abuse, because you could do things like block stack damage on Phyrexian Rager and then blink the mage after damage was on the stack, killing the Rager and getting an artifact from your deck and keeping the mage in play. Really, really insane. So here I'm just chump blocking and I'm blinking. He does not have removal. Alright, so since I'm taking quite a bit of damage here now, I'm taking 4 plus a minimum of hit from that guy's going to drop me down to 11, so I'm going to go get some life gain. And he's pouring on the pressure still. Look at all these dudes. So this looks like just a crazy, untenable situation already, given that I'm facing 5 creatures with just a 2/2. This thing's going away, of course, so I'm not counting that. And all I've got in my hand is some land and a Mole Drifter and a Spell Bomb. But we have a way of surviving. I'm just going to torch that thing away. And we're just going to sit on blink mana. Take some more damage, that's fine. Cast another Chittering Rat. So putting away the other torch. Sending the team. So here we are, we're going to block and blink again. This time I'm getting a Pirate Spellbomb just as an opportunity to kill off one of these guys during the attack step. I could get more life gain, but I'd rather just remove blockers. So I am all the way down to 6, and he plays another creature. It's really, really tenuous situation all of a sudden. So now it's time for Mole Drifter. And I figure if I hit a land off the Mole Drifter, then I can deploy. I really want to get the Spellbomb into play at the very least. The Spellbomb will protect me from a majority of his attack. I don't get a land, but I do get a Rift Watcher, which is very nice. I'm going to play the Spellbomb. And during upkeep, as soon as that guy dies with the damage on this deck, I'm just going to gain 5. No reason to screw around. Rats me again. Ridiculous. So he's gotten 2 Marauders, 2 Ragers, 3 Chittering Rats, and 2 Ravenous Rats in the top 17 cards. Pretty good draw. Just putting back one of those. Just brawling again. Alright, now we're just blocking. Back down to 6. Another Marauder also. God. It's so funny. It's like the guy's playing a deck with 8 of each of these things. I don't even know what the other cards in his deck are. I guess it's removal. He's only drawn 1 bolt. I'm sure he's got bolts and incinerates and stuff. But anyway. Muldrifter. Alright. So even though we're down to 5 and he's got 5 guys in play, and I'm sure he's thinking this game's in the bag, my deck is pretty hard to kill. Riftwatcher. Pyrite Spellbomb. So this doesn't look like much defense, but this is actually an almost unbreakable wall right now, given how powerful Momentary Blink is when interacting with Aven Riftwatcher. Here they come again. I can block. I'm just going to pop that guy off. And with a blink, I nullify his entire attack, saving my Riftwatcher, gaining back 4 life. So these guys effectively do nothing. So I basically nullify that entire attack and effectively kill the Keldon Marauder with a Momentary Blink. Pretty fantastic. And now he's down to just 1 card in hand. Draw a Terramorphic Expanse. Time for another Muldrifter, protected by the Aether Spellbomb. And I get Ninja of the Deep Hours. Perfect timing. But we're just going to wait for one more turn here to block. Oh, he unearths his Keldon Marauder. That's out again. I'm down to 5. He's going to fetch land. So now I'm down to 1 counter on this guy, I guess. Yeah. Draw land. Send that guy in. Ninja. So sick. Draw a card. I get the Bone Splitter. There's a single copy of the Bone Splitter in this deck. And it's so funny that this single Bone Splitter has won literally hundreds of games. As good as this deck is, its primary vulnerability is things with 3 or more toughness, because all of my creatures are 2 power. Having the ability to just increase any one of my creatures up to 4 is so instrumental to winning tons and tons of games, especially against decks with big sliver creatures or with the big mirror creatures, the big artifact affinity guys. The Mirror Enforcer is a great example of that. Those Aurochs Herds are another example of big 4 toughness dudes, although you probably won't see Aurochs Herd anymore with Cloudpost gone. But anyway, this Bone Splitter is awesome. Plus, it's a fantastic clock, and it works so cheaply on offense and defense. People have asked me, like, why do you use this over? Well, I guess it's like the only one casting cost equipment that's this efficient. Anyway, we're just gonna go gain some more life. Already back up to 9 again. This guy's got to be frustrated at this point, given how many guys he's had to throw at me, and I'm still at 9, and I still have a Momentary Blink in the graveyard. So here he comes again. We're just going to block. And after blocking, I get another flashback Riftwatcher, gaining 4 more life, killing this thing effectively, killing off his rat. He plays a Mog dude. I'm still at 10. Play another Muldrifter. I get 2 crappy land. I guess that was sort of due for that, given how many lands are in my deck. I think I'm playing 24 land, but millions of Karus and, of course, the Spellbombs to sack. So the deck actually often feels like it has upwards of half land, because there's so much cycling and card drawing. Alright, just like that, we're on the attack. Smash. He's already down to 12. Given the fact that he's taken damage from Ragers and Unearth, he's actually really, really low on life already. That guy's dying again. We're almost tied in life. Plus the fact is this is 6 more life here anyway. Takes another point, drawing his 3rd Phyrexian Rager. Which I guess makes sense given the fact that he's playing with 8 of all these guys. I'm not really sure what this attack is all about. When he sends in his whole team, I'm thinking to myself, well, does he have like nausea or something? Something to deal 1 damage? I couldn't for the life of me figure out what the purpose of this attack was other than just losing all of his guys, but whatever, I'll bite. I have an Aether Spellbomb and I don't care. So he casts Gitu Slinger after combat. And kills the ninja. It's so awesome, I can just bounce the ninja and then just reuse its ninjutsu ability. Oh yeah, and I draw Leonin Squire finally too. So here we go. Attack. Ninja the Aven Riftwatcher. Smash down to 3, and I draw Trinket Mage. And just like that, tutor, Pyrite. Get back another Pyrite. Cast 1, cast the other. Boom, boom, dead. That was a pretty textbook game of how this Trinket Blink'it deck works. How it can just face an army and using all the different card advantage tools that it has, wind up completely dominating the opponent anyway and finishing in a pretty cool fashion there. Hope you enjoyed that game. I'll probably be playing more games of Pauper to come, especially if people tell me that they're interested in watching them. See you later.